I'd like to call to order a meeting of the regular Kingston City Council. I'd like to have everyone please stand. Ask Mr. Brown to lead us in the invocation. Mr. Griffiths, he'll lead us in pledge the flag.
Pray with me, please. Our Heavenly Father, once again, we come to you with grateful hearts. Thank you for the opportunity to be here as a body and do the will of the citizens of Kingston. Special prayer request tonight. It seems like we have one every single meeting we have, but please wrap your arms around the Michael Lane family as they go through this tragic time. Be with them. Sometimes we don't know what your will is or the direction that you may take us in, but we know that you'll have it all covered for that family. Just be with them, with Jay and Annie, and as they go through this very difficult time. Again, we want to give you praise every day for all that you do for us. And thank you for sending your son to die on the cross for our sins, and we'll give you praise every day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, baby. See you. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Brown.
President.
Councilmember Childs.
Present.
Councilmember Davis.
Present.
Vice Mayor Humphries.
Present.
Councilmember Stockton. Councilmember Wright.
Present.
Mayor Denton.
Present. Do you hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
I make the motion.
Second. A motion is second. See any corrections or deletions to the minutes?
No.
Council. Madam Clerk, call the roll on minutes, please.
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Childs.
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries.
Yes.
Councilmember Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Denton.
Now it's time for citizens' comments. The first to appear. Also have 3 proclamations that I'm going to do first, and then we'll do the citizens' comments. Let's see what we got first. All right, who's getting one for the National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day? Everyone got glasses. Okay. So whereas, I should have glasses. So whereas National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is a safe, convenient, economically friendly and responsible way to dispose of unused and unexpired or expired drugs, National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day strives to educate the general public about the potential for abuse of medications. Whereas opioid abuse is at epidemic levels in the United States and remains a top health concern. And whereas over 12 million Americans aged 12 and older misuse controlled prescription drugs, and the majority of the abused prescription drugs are retained from family and friends. Whereas the prescriptions narcotic drugs, opioids, is a major public health concern, and more than 130 people die each day from opioid overdoses. And whereas unused or unexpired medications are a public safety issue leading to potential accidental poisoning, misuse, and overdose. And whereas National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is a national initiative implemented to reduce prescription drug abuse and diversion. And whereas proper disposal of unused drugs saves lives. Whereas the City of Kingston Police Department and the Rome County Anti-Drug Coalition will host National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, October the 29th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to provide an opportunity for the community to prevent substance misuse and overdose deaths. Now therefore be resolved, we the City of Kingston do hereby proclaim October 29th as National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. Hold on, take a picture.
Okay.
Now I can take my glasses off.
This one's mine too.
Is it? What's this? Up here, it's red ribbon week.
And it is tough to say. We'll say red ribbon.
Let's wait till the next one. All right, whereas alcohol and drug abuse affect individuals, families, and communities across the nation. And whereas it's imperative that visible, unified efforts by community members be launched to prevent drug abuse. And whereas red Ribbon Week offers citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles. And whereas Red Ribbon Week will be celebrated in communities across the nation on October the 23rd through the 31st. And whereas business, government, law enforcement, media, healthcare providers, religious institutions, schools, and other community-based organizations will demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by wearing red ribbons and participating in drug prevention activities. Whereas the City of Kingston further commits its resources to ensure the success of Red Ribbon Week. Now therefore be resolved, we the City of Kingston do hereby proclaim October 23rd to the 31st as Red Ribbon Week.
Yeah. Proud of you. This one can be blurry because I'm still taking. Thank you, sir. It's Mr. Crawford, I believe.
I believe so. All right, now National Chiropractic Health Month. Because these words in here is going to give you red ribbon.
Almost certain.
I know. Whereas the opioid crisis continues to take a toll on the health and lives of millions of Americans and has worsened in some communities during the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas according to the Centers of Disease Control Prevention, as many as 1 in 4 patients who receive prescription opioids long-term for non-cancer pain struggles with addiction. And from 1999 through 2020, more than 260,000 people have died in the U.S. from overdose involving prescription opioids. Whereas the interest in and need for greater access to safe and effective non-drug, non-invasive approaches to pain management have increased. Whereas the American College of Physicians released updated low back pain treatment guidelines in 2017 that promote the use of non-invasive, non-drug approaches such as spinal manipulation as a first line of defense against back pain, therefore the use of pain medication and surgery. Whereas the CDC in its draft 2022 prescribing guidelines also promotes diverse approaches and varied pain management solutions and specifically encourages the use of non-drug therapies as a frontline treatment for substance and chronic pain and even some types of acute pain. Whereas doctors of chiropractic who focus on the whole person with their non-drug, non-invasive treatments for pain management, most notably spinal manipulation, can play an important role in helping patients lessen the reliance on pain medications. Whereas there's a growing body of research supporting the early use of chiropractic spinal manipulation in helping patients with chronic low back pain to reduce or eliminate their need for prescription opioid pain medication. Whereas the theme, chiropractic on the front lines of pain, National Chiropractic Health Month 2022 serves as a reminder to the citizens of Kingston, Tennessee that non-drug treatments for lower back pain, such as spinal manipulation, provided by doctors of chiropractic can help lessen or eliminate the need for riskier potential addictive treatments and should be utilized where appropriate before starting prescription opioid pain medications. Now therefore I be it resolved, Timothy Neal, Mayor of the City of Kingston, officially joins the American Chiropractic Association, the Tennessee Chiropractic Association, and the Crawford Family Chiropractic in proclaiming the month of October 22 as National Chiropractic Health Month. All right, now let me set aside time for citizens who wish to appear before the council. Do we have anyone wishing to appear before the council? Yes, sir. You would come up and state your name and address.
My name is Toby Litzy, and I live at 804 West Ridgecrest. That's the red ribbon. West Ridgecrest Drive. And I'm also a maintenance guy who could probably fix this for you. I'm going to read so that I stick to the script here. Hello everyone, my name is Toby Litzy. I'm a new member of this wonderful town. My family and I arrived in June of this year from Hawaii and bought a home here on July 2nd. We live on Ridgecrest Drive and love it. Well, most of it. You see, we bought a house that is currently on septic. The house was built in 1975 and has a drain field that is about at the end of its lifespan. The previous owner also made the mistake of pouring a concrete slab over the septic tank, which now seems to be very problematic. I have been working with the state of Tennessee's environmental scientist, Mr. Will Luke, to rectify the situation, and I also got in touch with Kevin Hamilton, who works for the city of Kingston, to rectify the situation. And I have noticed that there is a sewer line on our street that ends about 150 feet or so, just up the road from our residence. I'm here tonight to humbly ask the city of Kingston to consider having that sewer line extended. I have driven to the end of our street and have counted the number of homes and families that would benefit from having sewer services available to them. There are about 30 homes and families that would potentially become new sewer customers in the next decade, I'm guessing, as most of these homes were built around the same time and would need a more permanent and safe solution to their wastewater removal needs. I want to thank you all for taking the time to hear my request and for taking action in order to improve the infrastructure for the people who call Kingston home. Aloha.
We will discuss with Kevin, we can discuss with Melissa, the water department, to see where we're going, because there are different sewer expansions that we're working on at the present time.
I appreciate that.
Anyone else?
My name's Doug Clark, and I live at 1112 Circle Drive. And I didn't know what the proclamations were going to be tonight. I didn't know they were here, but what I'm requesting goes right along with what you've already heard. So my daddy told me, don't ever complain about something if you don't offer a solution. So I'm not saying this is, but I'm offering. I'm asking this council to pass a resolution to make fentanyl test kits public. You place them behind the pharmacy counters. We already give Narcan free to anyone, family, friends, and users. Some places even have machines that they're dispensing Narcan. They're not even in a store. It's like a Coke machine or something. Excuse me, no medicine is being used, and no identification would be required. Just like as you come down and pick up Narcan. And they can't use the video to investigate or to arrest anyone, okay? If we give it to doctors to hand out or whatever, they're not going to a doctor. But if I can go in and get a test kit and have it, because I have a friend that I'm worried about, these young kids, we can tell them they can get a kit and test that pill that they're about to take to see if it's fentanyl or if it's the Percocet or OxyContin that they think they're using. This is an aside, just thinking about dispensing of medications and collecting them. People don't understand that when you take your medication and flush it down the commode, that gets into the water system. And there's nothing in our water system that filters that out. We kill bacteria, okay? We do not kill Percocet, Prozac, Zoloft, Xanax, all the different medications that can get to us. So, you know, and we know that when the police raid a place, you know, those people flush their drugs down the commode. So we're all getting them right now in tiny amounts, but if we got a full dose of fentanyl, it would kill us. So if a resolution is the right word to use, that we send a resolution to the other mayors, Lockwood, Harriman, and Olive Springs, and ask them to join us to send a resolution to the governor, and also any other mayors that you may know, Mr. Mayor, that, you know, if you like the idea, it will have to be tweaked, of course. I'm sure I've left out potential things. But the police, I'm just asking tonight, they buy in bulk from a company, okay? And that's what the highway patrol and all the police officers across America. And if we publicized it, okay? Because we don't publicize in our county like you should be. And we're having unnecessary deaths. It's not real bad here, but one's too many. When you let kids say they're out, I remember, that we would get one beer and 6 of us in the car would sip on it and act like we were drunk, just peer pressure. I didn't want to drink it, but I thought, well, they'll think I'm stuck up. So that's one thing. Next, I want to bring to your all's attention that the wrong way accident, okay, has just been something that we've been asking to have. And I've been trying my best. I've talked to the Department of Transportation, I've talked to our senators, our representatives. Our exits and our entrance ramps are about that far apart. It's not impossible to do. I've done it, even here, even though I've lived all my life. I've gone up that exit ramp and realized that I'd gotten on and backed up. So wrong way signs are pretty good, but I think we need to add the regular stop signs, okay? And I think the other thing to do is to extend the median strip out so you can't turn and get in to that entrance ramp.
There's a plan in place right now for the exit 352 enhancement that will supposedly fix that problem.
Okay, well, I hope that it does, but that's one thing. The other thing is to have, excuse me, wireless red lights on each side that are stoplights, and they're just on all the time. Okay?
That being a federal highway, they have to go through the state. That's nothing like we could go out there and do.
Well, I know you can't do it, but I'm thinking that we can ask Senator Yeager or...
Ask TDOT to look at it in
Right, we
different
can, yeah.
situations and where somewhere else in the state has got some similar type of problem.
Yeah. There's a company that makes a thing called Tiger Claw. It's like this. And if you go forward, it goes down inside the little apparatus. It's low profile. Okay, doesn't raise that much, so it's just a speed bump. But if you come the wrong way, it clogs your tires and stops it. That's an extreme. But we lost someone, and many years ago on Longville Road, the guy got on the exit ramp driving east in the westbound lanes of I-40, and I happened to be coming home that evening and went down the exit ramp because the ambulances were there and did CPR on this girl that we couldn't get out of the car because of the horrific crash. And we did that for over an hour, and that was horrible. It's been on my mind ever since, obviously, since I bring it up. But I thank you for your time, and I thank you all for your patience.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council? You gonna say Red Whip?
I am going to say Red Ribbon. Ashley Freeberg, Roane County Anti-Drug Coalition Youth Prevention Coordinator. Just wanted to say thank you again to the Kingston City Council members for the proclamations, for the hard work and the dedication, not only that our students are putting into the lives of other students and peers in our county, but also our really hardworking volunteers as well. So just want to come up here and say thank you, and we appreciate you guys. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Anyone else wishing to address the council? Dr. Hahn.
So as you all are aware, I'm running for House District Seat 32. And I consider myself a fiscal conservative and a social moderate. You don't spend money you don't have, and you don't take money from people who need it. I'm not an ideologue. I really don't care if you have an R or a D or an I or your name. I'm a problem solver. We heard tonight some of our citizens solving problems, not ideological, just solving problems. And we have a lot in this state. Crumbling infrastructure, we're really struggling educational system and a dysfunctional healthcare system. And unless we resolve to solve them together, we won't solve them at all. So I'm a new face. I bring fresh ideas and a different way of solving them. So I've given my card to everyone but Jeff. So I feel free to call me. I will come to your office, sit down, and let you ask every question that you think is relevant for this contest. I want you to know very well the type of individual I am, how I think about solving problems. And I am not going to spend any more time tonight because you have a long agenda in front of you. But thank you for these few minutes of your time. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council tonight? All right, we'll see then. We'll go into reports. Mr. Griffiths, do you have anything to report?
No, just Thursday. Library board meeting this Thursday at 5.
Thursday, fine. Ms. Wright, do you have anything?
Well, we finally got our grant agreement for build, the $250,000 planning grant. Haley is working on the procurement of professional services so we can start to move forward with that. We'll put it out to bid and hopefully that will be brought to council in December so we can award that bid for professional services so we can get the ball rolling on that planning. Bassmaster is open. We were able to announce that. We're very excited that the city of Kingston is going to be able to host this tournament September 2023, September 13th through the 15th. That's a 3-day tournament. It could be close to 500 anglers that will participate in that tournament. Bassmaster Open events are divided up into 3 divisions. Each division gets 3 tournament cities. The last leg of each division, the whole tournament is televised on FS1. The Watts Bar tournament is the last tournament of our division, so the whole 3-day tournament will be on FS1 Live. This past season so far, they have an average viewership of 12.1 million people, so there will be a lot of eyeballs on Kingston, Tennessee. And even though we are hosting it, this is going to be a big benefit for the entire county because all the anglers will be here practicing from all ramps, all over the county, staying all over the county. So I'm excited to welcome them next year. And the last, one more thing, no, 2 more things. Jaeger Grant Conference is tomorrow. I'm going to be attending that. If there's any new grant information, I'll report on that next month. And I also want to congratulate, I know he hates this, but I wanted to congratulate our city manager on his review. And his total score was 4.125 out of 5. Usually city managers are in the range of 3.0 to 3.5, so congratulations, David. Your leadership is great, and I know the employees and city council certainly appreciate your work. And that's all I have.
Mr. Brennan.
Just to follow up on what Stephanie said about the bass tournament, even though it's a 3-day tournament, it's really going to be 7 or 8 days because they come in and practice for 2 to 3 days. Then they've got a dead period of 2 days before the 3-day tournament starts. So you'll see them in town for what, a week or so anyway. And there'll be an opportunity, from what I understand, for some local people to help participate in this too, as the non-captains of the boats and the film crew. And
Yeah, they do co-anglers, so.
So, really good thing. On a 911 note, we've gone back to meeting quarterly. We did have a special meeting last Thursday. The activity report should be in your packet. Well, it is in your packet. And also I need to report at that Thursday meeting that we have been interviewing applicants to take for the new director for the last 3 months. The board unanimously voted to hire Brian Walker, who is a Roane County resident, employee of the Sheriff's Department, who will start at the end of the month. That's all I have.
Mr. Childs, do you have anything?
What's Bar Kayakers, they had a tournament last Sunday at Glad Landing. Had quite a few show up, ready to give out some awards. We always try to help out, get them lined up, so bring more stuff into Kingston. I'm not sure what the number was. I'm busy, usually I go by and check, but they said it turned out real well. And thanks to City for letting us use the Glad Landing Park on it. I think that's all I have.
Ms. Sanders, do you have anything?
We had the concert Saturday night, the ORUD sponsored bluegrass concert at the amphitheater. We did have a pretty good crowd considering it was so cold. It went well. Also, we will be having the Fall Fest 29th with trunk or treat from 2 to 4 in the courthouse parking lot.
I don't have anything to report, so I'm going to turn it over to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things here in addition to my written report. As you know, for some time, Arcadis, the firm you contracted with to work on the Glad Landing resurfacing project, has been working on the plans for that. Obviously, that's just a simple mill and overlay project, but a lot of required steps that we have to go through. They've reached out to TDOT. Obviously, we have the preliminary plans. There's a right-of-way phase where we have to go through and a whole series of steps there. Arcadis has asked TDOT to allow us to just do a field review for that project as far as the right-of-way utilities go. If they approve it, that's going to streamline the process, hopefully speed it up a little bit. So just wanted to give you, we haven't heard back from TDOT yet as to whether they'll let us do that, but we think they will given the nature of this project. So just want to give you an update on that, and that could get us that much closer to the construction phase of that. So we'll be anxious to take any time shaved off of that we can get. A couple other things. You may have noticed the resurfacing is done at the track. It looks really good. I'm real tickled with how that turned out. The striping crew should be in either this week or next to stripe that and finish it up, and I think everybody will be very happy with that project. Talked to JR, the community center reflooring has been scheduled. They're supposed to come in the day after the election and start on that, probably going to run through December. We're going to try to do the main room and the lobby first and get those done, and they can work on some of the side rooms as they go along, but we'll be anxious to get that done. The sidewalk project downtown, had a few questions about that. As you know, we're waiting to finish the section on 58. Had trouble getting anybody scheduled to come in and do the curb and guttering, so we're going to do that in-house. Tim's had to order some molds to do that. It may be 2 to 3 weeks before they receive them, and once they do, that work will resume. And also just to go along with what Councilmember Wright said, Kelly and I will also be out of the office in the morning going to the grants conference. So hopefully we'll have some good information to bring back from that. And that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the city manager?
Yes, since the track is done, are they going to get started on the pickleball courts this year, or will it be next year?
We don't know. We don't have an answer. We were hoping that they would just transition from one to the other while they were here. They had another job, a bigger job that they're trying to get done this season, so they said it will depend on how quick they get done with that, what the weather's like at that time. We're definitely trying to get them back here this fall, but we're kind of wait and see right now on that. So thank you. You're welcome.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to speak up for the city manager. If y'all were wondering who the one who didn't turn in his review, it was me, so nobody else gets the blame for it. I actually done it, and it was on my outgoing mail that I put on the end, and I forgot it. But I don't need to send that in. I don't care to tell you right here. Your review, I was probably the third highest to the highest. I was ranking those numbers. I went back and looked. You've helped me out on a lot of stuff. A lot of things I want to do, and you tell me I can't do. So, but there's a lot of things I want to do, have done, and you've come up and helped me out. So, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Anything else? All right, item 7, addition of items to the meeting agenda received after the close of the agenda deadline, by unanimous consent. I haven't heard of any, so we're going to unfinished business. Item A is consideration of the second and final reading of ordinance 2209-1301, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee for fiscal year 2022-2023. Do I hear a motion on this passes on second reading?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Griffiths. Ms. Wright, anything?
No, sir.
Mr. Council? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye. That's 6 ayes. Item B is consideration of the second and final reading of ordinance 2209-1302, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee Water and Sewer Fund for fiscal year 2022-2023. Your motion for this second reading of this ordinance.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Childs, or a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Humphries. Any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye. Now, the new business item A is consideration of a one-time increase for employee bonuses through the use of the ARPA Direct Appropriation Fund. Do I hear a motion for this one-time employee bonus?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Childs, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Wright. Mr. Childs?
Do we know if everybody's gonna be able to get that, or is it just gonna be the ones that's working during COVID? And what would be the time frame if it's close to, do we know?
So it will be for all current employees who were employed between, in the time period, March 3rd, 2021 till today. So everybody who's here now.
Because it's going out and then everybody be asking questions, and that came up and I didn't know, so I
Yeah,
told
it will be all current employees, full-time, and the timing on it, if you approve this, then Michelle is prepared, I think, to go to work on that.
It's up to you all. Yeah, I can do that payroll as soon as possible. I do want to probably hold off till next week to give employees the options.
So they were asking if it would be, if we voted yes, it would be immediately or at Christmas or whatever, so like.
No, we just need to give them time to give us the option of whether they want FIT taken out or not. Because we're going to let them make that decision.
And that date and time stuff is part of the resolution.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Wright, do you have anything?
I do not.
Council? Madam Clerk, call the roll for resolution 2210-1101.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Mayor, real quick, just, and thank you for your support on that. Also, just to let you know, so you'll know what's coming as we move more into ARPA projects. Obviously, there's a host of red tape we have to go through with everything that we're going to expend these funds on, but you'll be seeing a lot more resolutions, everything individually that this money will be spent on will have to come back to you in the form of resolutions. So.
And also, even though we passed this resolution, this money will be on the next meeting agenda for an ordinance moving that money into that line item to pay those salaries.
The resolution.
The ordinance, the amendment ordinance for the money. This is just to agree to pay it,
Oh, I
but there'll
see.
be an amendment ordinance for the money and 2 readings.
Okay.
Okay?
Item B is consideration to change the date of the November City Council meeting due to a conflict with the election. Election date is November 8th. We discussed in the workshop to move it to the Thursday, November the 10th. If that's okay with everyone, I get a motion to change that date.
I'll make a motion to change it.
Do I hear a second? Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Item C is consideration of the first reading of ordinance 22-1011-01, an ordinance amending section 11-1001 of municipal zoning code regarding the fee to be charged to the applicant to defray costs resulting from the filing of application for change in the zoning ordinance. Do I hear a motion for this first reading of this ordinance?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Wright, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Brown. Ms. Wright, would you like to discuss?
No, it's self-explanatory. It's the same thing we did last month, month before. We can't keep incurring the advertisement cost when somebody comes and asks us for a change, so
We did it on BZA.
BZA, right.
Mr. Brown?
Just a point of order to help me, just so it's not confusing in the minutes and stuff. The resolution we just passed has got the same number as the ordinance that we're fixing to pass. So when you look at those, one's an ordinance and one's a resolution, so that we're not confused when we go back and look at those. I don't think that makes any difference if one's one, the other one's the other, but they're the same number.
I had to look at it twice.
Well, I was looking at that, but the section number, that's what I was looking at.
Any other discussion on changing that? Madam Clerk, you call the first reading on this ordinance.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Dan? Aye. 6 ayes.
Item D is consideration of appointment of applicants for 2 expiring seats on the Board of Zoning Appeals. I think we have 2 applicants that's on the Board of Zoning Appeals now wishes to stay on there. Do I hear a motion to reappoint those 2 seats?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Ms. Wright, would you like to read the names?
Sure, that would be Glenda Johnson and Levi Langford.
Good motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Brown?
We did this last week too. What happens, Mr. McPherson, we've appointed people that to boards and to commissions that are running for office, and one of them particularly says that they can't, there's specifications. These people have to come off some of those boards if they are elected to the council. Because like one of them says there's only one council person. We already have a council person who's not coming off. Just something for you to look at, maybe.
That'll be something for us to look at.
TikTok.
One's the beautification committee and one would be this one.
I'll give you something.
Because it came up once before, that when we were looking to reappoint on some boards that were inactive for a long period of time, when we checked, we didn't know if it was a council appointment or a citizen's appointment, and then they went on because they were already on those boards. I just, and don't care to say this, Langford is one of those. Would he be able to serve as sitting on the council before, because we've already got council people on that board? The same thing with beautification. Mr. Sparks, we just appointed him not long ago, and that one specifically says only one council person, 6 will be, the other ones are chief of police, city manager, and 6 regular citizens. So
I don't think that the BZA calls that out specifically.
just something for the attorney.
Yeah.
I'm making a note.
Okay, thanks, Mayor.
Madam Clerk, call the roll on the 2 reappointments.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Dan? Aye. 6 ayes.
Item E is consideration of approval to surplus equipment. There's a big, long list we discussed last Tuesday. Do you hear a motion to surplus this equipment?
I make a motion to put it on www.com.
Second.
There's a motion second. Is there any discussion?
Those Walk of Honor banners and brackets, is that the same ones that we're using?
No, these are the old.
Can't use them, the brackets or nothing?
Any other discussion?
I brought up about the fire truck, I think y'all got the email there before, and the only one we'd be able to do is seal bid, and I personally think that looks kind of shady, pulling it all out. That's the reason I just went ahead and had it all put on there, and hopefully the ones that contact us local, they will get to bid on it.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk, call the roll, sir. That's all this is.
Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Dale?
Aye. That being the end of the agenda, the city council meeting is adjourned. Then we'll go into the regular meeting of the Kingston Beer Board. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Childs?
Present.
Member Griffiths?
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries?
President.
Member Stockton? Member Wright?
Present.
Chairman Dale?
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes.
Make motion.
Second.
Who's second?
I said second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, call the roll for the previous minutes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs?
Yes.
Member Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries?
Yes.
Member Wright?
Yes.
Chairman Dale?
Aye. With nothing else to come before the Beer Board, this meeting is adjourned. Give me 1 second.
You might not be on there just yet.
Okay.
Please enter the conference PIN number. After the tone, say your name and then press the pound key. Thank you. There is currently one other participant in the conference.
All right. Now we'll call to order the meeting of the Water Board. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Childs?
Present.
Member Griffiths?
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries?
President.
Member Stockton? Member Wright?
Present.
Chairman Dale?
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
A motion is second for the previous minutes. Do you see any corrections or deletions to the minutes?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk, call the roll on the minutes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs?
Yes.
Member Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries?
Yes.
Member Wright?
Yes.
Chairman Dale?
Aye. Now we just set aside time for anyone that's wishing to address the Water Board. I know we've got Mr. Litzy stuff to discuss with the captain here in just a moment. Is anyone here to address the Water Board? Mr. City Manager, your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things in addition to my written report, talking about ARPA on the utility side, which of course is separate from the direct appropriation. As you know, the process for that, those projects have to be applied for. It's basically a non-competitive grant, but we do have to go through the application process. Then they'll come back to you for final approval, but that application has been submitted to TDEC. So happy to have that behind us and have that in the pipeline. Don't know what their time frame will be. I imagine they're pretty swamped, but we are in there. Along those lines, one of the things we're required to do with our utility funding is to do an asset management plan. We estimate that to be between $10,000 and $20,000. We received notification that the state revolving loan fund is doing 100% forgiveness for asset management planning. So we're in the process, we're going to apply for that. If we get the money, then obviously it would pay to do that component, and that would be $10,000 to $20,000 that we can free up for other utility usage. So just trying to stretch that money as far as we can, and that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the utility? All right, seeing none. Going to new business, consideration for request for sewer service at Good Stop by Casey's location at 1452 Longville Road. I see we have an agreement. I assume, Mr. Attorney, you had looked through this agreement and you are okay with it.
I have you.
Can you hear a motion to go into this agreement with Casey's?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Brown. Ms. Wright, you have anything?
I don't. Thank you, Mr. City Manager, and thank you, Kevin, for doing all the work on this.
Mr. Brown.
The bore is included in the $25,000, so we're absorbing the bore of Longville Road.
Yes, sir. That's for a 2-inch line or smaller, which we can do in there.
Mr. Attorney, on page 2, section 6 and section 7, it talks about the pump station and stuff that will be on Casey's property necessary to connect the services. And then the next paragraph says, the sewer main extension will be at all times of property of the city and shall be repaired and maintained by the city. I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume anything, that the city main would stop where? That we're going to maintain on this side of Longville?
City Main stops at the junction, and that's what Kevin says, that they'll put the junction in on the other side, but if I understand it correctly, all the pump station stuff is on the,
So we're going to be responsible for a larger line going down the right-of-way, and then a smaller line going underneath the Longville Road that we'll be responsible for.
Correct, it would just be the service line off of the main, Mr. Brown, to just right inside the property line, just like a water meter box or a sewer box. That would be our point of connection, is where we would start and stop.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Clerk, call the roll on this agreement, please.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs?
Yes.
Member Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries?
Yes.
Member Wright?
Yes.
Chairman Neal?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Now, Mr. Hamilton, have you looked into what Mr. Lidsy's talking about on West Ridge Crest and what we might be able to do there?
I have had a conversation with Mr. Litsky. I've also spoken with Mr. Will Luke from TDEC. This is what Mr. Will Luke told me. He said that Mr. Litsky's got a problem. He said severe problem. It's steep on both sides of West Ridge Crest. He said, I will just tell you what I've told him. He said, for future, he said, the state of Tennessee will probably never grant any permits for repairs up there on septic systems. He said, it's just not good. He said, I would encourage you and encourage your board to look into maybe expanding y'all's sewer service into this area just for that simple fact.
Have you had a chance to look at any of it?
I've not measured or anything of that nature, Mayor. I was just sort of waiting to see how y'all wanted to pursue this before I sort of got into the deep depths of it.
Mr. Bowling, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I think we would, we could probably do this as we have some of these other recent projects, like Kevin put together some estimates and bring it back to the workshop next month.
Yeah, I think if everybody's kind of agreement with that, we can go with that.
Yes.
Everybody good with it?
Yes.
Would y'all like to go all the way to the end of that road just for clarification?
I would.
Okay.
I would bring something that reflects the cost of that.
Yeah. I wouldn't just go so far. If we go all the way to the end, it'd be fine.
Well, we've got, Kevin, how many did we hook up where the Walden property was at? I can't think of it. Dead end street off 70.
Oh, Schubert?
Yeah, Schubert.
Yeah, 13, I think, 11 or 13, don't quote me on that, that's eligible. We've already had I've got one that's already tied on, and I've got another tap, I'm just waiting on the materials to make it, so that'd be 2 already tied on.
But we've already notified the other 10 that they've got to start paying.
Correct, and I've been taking calls about that and explaining it.
I bet you have.
Yeah, thanks.
Is there anything else coming for the water board tonight?
Just along those lines, I know it's not slated to come up until next month at the workshop, but I emailed you out. Kevin completed the estimate on the Ward Road extension, so you have that in your email if you haven't had a chance to look at that yet. And of course, that'll be in your packets for next month.
Anything else coming for the beer board? Water board. The red whipping we just got.
On the Ward Road, if that property's developed there off of 70, would that, so that's gonna be at the backside of Ward Road too, correct? Can we just rezone it?
You talking about that 50-acre tract?
Yeah.
That would actually be serviced off of Longville.
Okay.
It's a pretty good piece from where that is it.
Well,
It actually goes right back to first.
Member Childs is right. Ward Road actually, that property where they're asking to be de-annexed sort of backs up to that. But I've been in conversation with that developer and he wants to service that off of Longville, and which I think that would be our best.
I just didn't know if we're being backed up to it, that might solve 2 of our problems with one, that's what.
Anything else coming for the water board? This meeting's adjourned.